Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. We're starting out at McDonald Creek Provincial Park on Upper Arrow Lake, just south of Nakusp, and we're going to be heading down to a place called Burton, British Columbia. Now this is kind of right at the end of the campground. There's a little roundabout kind of thing here, and so we're going to pass through the park here and you can kind of see some of the spots. So we're going to be driving south to Burton, and Burton's on Lower Arrow Lake. So we're going to pass by the narrows on the lake here, which separate the upper and the lower. Often this area is just called Arrow Lakes, like plural. But there's actually narrows there, and there's a little community there. Was it Arrow Park? East Arrow Park. But there's a dam pretty close, or not a dam, a ferry pretty close to there that crosses the lake as well, which I didn't realize till I'd gone past it. But it's definitely worth checking out this area. There's lots to see. But this campground here is a really nice spot. You can see the spots on the right are all right on the lake. And I think it was $30 a night. Might be discounts for seniors and off-peak times, that sort of thing. But you'll have to check it out. These prices sometimes change. McDonald Creek Provincial Park. You can just search for that and get the latest info. I've never stayed here, but it's really nice. And this is beginning of October. So it's still open, and there's still a few people camping, but it's certainly not busy like you get in the summertime. It's not too cold at night either. Getting down to about 5 degrees Celsius at night. It's one of the facility operators, I think, here. No, maybe not. I think they usually drive white trucks. Look after the place, come around, get your money, that sort of thing. I think you can reserve places here as well. I'll put a link to the video where we're driving here from Nakusp, and it's got a map of the campground. But there's a nice beach down here. Yeah, really nice place to stay. I think there's playgrounds, that sort of thing. There are signs, kind of yellow squares. You might see them around occasionally. Just warning of this is an active bear area. So it's quite possible that you could see a grizzly bear in here, which isn't something you really want to you really want to see. So there's a yellow sign there to the left that's on the ground. That was one of the ones that says bear area, but that's just part of this part of British Columbia. It's a lot of bears, grizzly bears and black bear, but primarily grizzly you have to worry about. So we're driving south on Highway 6 now. Gonna be on this for maybe about 20 minutes, depending on the weather. And I'm not gonna edit any of the drive out, so you get an idea of what this looks like. As we go through the narrows, the road gets really close to the lake, and there aren't any trees or anything. So it's kind of surprising how narrow the lake does get there. But like I said, there is a ferry that crosses there. Just got to be the loneliest job in the world being the guy who runs that ferry, because there can't be very many people living over there. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'll point it out. Really nice area. The mountains are really quite steep, and quite a history of mining in the area. Actually, Burton was actually originally a gold mine that was or I guess in the creek there, Caribou Creek, they did a placer gold discovery, so they found gold in the creek, and that's sort of how the community sprang up in the late 1800s, like 1890, and that. I think there was possibly different settlements over the years from the native population in the area. But I think I read that they didn't have a lot of archaeological evidence to support that, but it would only stand to reason that someplace like that had a big flat area next to a creek would probably have people living next to it at some point. I'm definitely going to try to come back here. I want to actually take that ferry across and see what's over there. Been on this highway a number of times, but I didn't even know it was there. Like, there's a couple of these ferries. We're going to be heading down towards one that crosses at over to Needles, and we came down from Revelstoke and crossed Shelter Bay. They crossed over Upper Arrow Lakes, and we crossed over to Galena. And that's another one of the ferries. It's actually one of the larger of the ferries around here. But I think this one that crosses close to the Narrows is actually quite small. It's funny, I was looking on satellite imagery, and you can actually see it crossing the lake when the satellite went over. So it looks like it could hold a number of vehicles. Probably at least 10 or 15, I would think. I guess they have to be big enough so they can possibly bring a logging truck that's loaded across, that sort of thing. So we get a little bit of a rainstorm here, rain shower at the start here. It does get better. So there's a few drops you're going to see skating across the lens. I do periodically give it a wipe. So I think we're getting close to where that ferry is. This guy in front here, he's slowing down, so I didn't realize till after that this is where the turnoff was, so that's probably where he's going. So you want to be looking for a road called Arrow Park Road, and that goes down to the ferry, and there's really I don't know, that sign back there may have been some indication of a park. But we'll pass this guy, and then just up here at the top of the hill is where the turnoff is. Yeah, so that's what the ferry looks like, the satellite image. You can see the white thing is the ferry kind of as it's crossing. But yeah, not much around. So that's the turn there. So it's like a 2-lane kind of thing there, so you kind of notice it if you're coming this direction anyway. So it's just a little bit past here where the Narrows are, so you can see the road gets right close to the lake here, and it looks like a bay or something, but it's really quite close. But that's the other side of the lake right there. Don't get much of a glimpse of it, the camera pointing straight ahead, but out the side window, it's you can see quite a lot. In this little community right here, you can see a few roads and some houses and that. I believe that's called East Arrow Park. That's what it shows on the map, but I guess the West Arrow Park is the other side of the lake. Yeah, a few houses and stuff. Really nice time of year to come through here. There's hardly any traffic. There's no risk of snow at this point. The trees are starting to change. If I had timed it, I was trying to time it when the trees were actually changing a little bit more, but I think I missed it by just a couple of days. Things change pretty quick here. It gets cold quite fast at night, and before you know it, yeah, it's too late. So, but it's nice. Everything's so green. So this place we're going, Burton, it, yeah, like I say, it started in like 1890 with the discovery of gold. But in 1968, they had to move the town up a little bit. And I say town, I really mean there's not a lot there now. But at the time, there used to be a rail, they had sternwheelers up and down the lake. And the CPR had a big dock there for loading things on and off, cargo on and off the sternwheelers that traveled up and down the lakes. So I think quite early on, this was one of the stops for the sternwheeler. But in '68, they created a dam closer to Castlegar and flooded the old town site. So they had to move it up further up the creek, because the whole original area where the docks were and the few buildings, school and that sort of thing, they all got flooded. And so that's not that long ago, '68. But it was kind of interesting. I'll have a picture I'll put up here of the actual dock. Seems like the closer you get to this Burton area, the kind of more interesting, kind of a change in the terrain, and that a little bit opens up a bit. I don't know if there's any active area or active mining or that sort of thing happening in the area right now, but I think logging is probably main industry around here now. I could be wrong. So to the right, the lake is actually Lower Arrow Lake now, since we went past the Narrows. That's what separates the two, upper and lower. It's just that Narrows there. It's not actually separate lakes, really. It may have been, I don't know when before it was flooded, but may have been a little more defined. The fluctuating water levels because of the dam, it can be quite a distance from the shoreline down to the water. Sometimes along, even up towards Nakusp and that. I've been up there, and it seems like a long ways down to the water. But so in the springtime, with all the snow melting, of course, it's going to be a lot higher. So here's a picture of the old docks here at Burton. So it's quite an established stop. I also found some info on this baseball team. This is 1923. So Burton had a baseball team in a league that I guess was probably BC. Interesting. A lot of these little mining towns had things like that. I know Sandon had one, a few other places, but 1923, to be doing something like that, it's kind of interesting. Didn't find a lot of other information. But just around the corner, you're going to see a bunch of post boxes on the left. There's like a frontage road, and that's kind of the main part of what you see around here. But this will be where we'll end it. But pick it up here in the next one. But thanks for watching. If you like this kind of thing, give it a like. Think about subscribing. And other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.